Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking about analyzing brand visibility with AI insight. So again, this is part 2. If you missed part 1, hopefully you've gotten the email that with the replay to part 1. And then this part 2 will be up and available by the end of today. So you'll have access to part 1 and part 2 and all of the tools that are available that I mentioned. Today, we're only going to demo a single tool. We're going to spend most of our time right now inside of the SEMrush AI Toolkit. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use other tools. You just the key here is to understand what we're doing and then go, I might have a different tool I prefer to use. You're more than welcome to do so. But I love the AI Toolkit because a lot of what I need is built into that tool. But I still use a number of other tools because I don't use one tool for everything, okay? So what we want to look at is brand mentions within the AI-generated responses to map out your competitive environment and your overall marketing standing. So for those who still may not know who I am, my name is Jimmy Newson. I am the founder and CEO of Moving Forward Small Business. I also get the opportunity to speak around the world, partnering with organizations like SEMrush, of course, Digital Marketing World Forum, SCORE, to name a few. I have quite a few certifications. I actually just got another certification last week. So my point is I'm always learning. Even though I'm teaching, I'm still also always learning, especially in this age because things are moving so incredibly fast. We did this entire series inside of the Moving Forward Small Business community in April, and that training is nothing like this training. That's how fast this AI stuff is moving, specifically around AI search. There have been a lot of improvements. There have been so many improvements that between last week and this week, there's a new section inside the AI Toolkit that we're going to briefly take a look at, and it's exciting. It's annoying, but it's exciting at the same time. Okay, so real quick about Moving Forward Small Business. We are an empowerment community. We're a community-based organization. We focus on digital transformation, strategy, and innovation. So we're not going to teach you how to do Google Ads. We're going to teach you how to, number one, think big picture, and then we're going to give you actionable, broken down steps and what that means and how you implement that. And that's where this type of training that we're on today comes into play, where you'll see, Nikisha and Corey and Laura eventually on where we're actually talking during the actual training, okay? So check out our community. We're on our lifetime deal, so you pay one time. It's very cheap, and you're in the program for life. But this training is an example of the type of stuff that we do, okay? This is presented by Moving Forward Small Business at SEMrush. I want to shout out our media partners, which include Innovate Summit and Alexander Sky Group. Big shout out to Digital Marketing World Forum, Montclair State University, their Feliciano Center of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, SP Pro University, and our small business growth partners, Noun Sourcing, Alexander, Aim to Scale, Forward Focus, a la carte catering, Talk Virtual, Caruso Enterprises, and Salamore. You can check them all out on the replay page, okay? So let's get into our 6-part series because I like to get past all that other craziness so we can actually get into why we're here. Last week we did preparing your brand for the age of AI search. Today we're going to get into analyzing brand visibility with AI insights. So you might have last week, if you did anything, dropped your brand name and information into the HubSpot free tool. You might have even tried to play around with the SEMrush AI Toolkit on the 7-day free plan. Either way, we're going to dive into the AI Toolkit today. Okay. Then next week, we're going to focus on optimizing content for user intent in AI search. Then day 4, part 4, identify competitors with AI-powered analysis. Part 5, ensure high-quality, authoritative content for AI search. And then we put a bow on it and go into build a strong online presence for AI search readiness. Okay, so what I want to do yesterday, as I was getting ready for today's session, this popped into my feed, and what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that we look at this. So this is a post by CNBC on my LinkedIn feed, And it says on the left, artificial intelligence startup Perplexity, which is one of the tools that I like to use, has made an unsolicited $34 billion bid for Google's Chrome browser. Okay. Now, regardless of what happens or what I even think about this, is, because I think that, I don't know if that makes sense because Google, Google Chrome is Google's thing and they're Gemini and all this stuff. So I don't know why they would actually do the sale. But the more important thing is one of the responses, and this I wanted to put this out there because of the response. It says, "Love Perplexity. I stopped using Google the minute I tried Perplexity. It's truly amazing, clean, and clutter-free. Answers the query directly and gives you the sources for you to delve deeper if you want to." So this is the mindset of people starting to leverage AI tools over traditional Google. And this is, I wanted to point that out because I want to get some feedback from Corey and Nikisha on, has your search, when it comes to searching online, changed? Are you still using Google? Or are you starting to leverage these other tools? And I'll give you mine as well. So Corey or Nikisha, how is your AI search starting to change, or has it not changed at all? You're still doing it as like you used to?
So I'll say for me, Jimmy, most of it has been AI-based search tools or search engines. Google isn't really like doing what it needs to do for what I'm doing now as far as in consulting. I get a little bit more of a broader perspective and more different aspects of how to look up certain things. So Google isn't really needs to catch up. Google may have to add its own AI feature, which I know we have Gemini, but yeah, I'm using more AI-based tools.
Okay. And Nikisha?
Same here. Google is limited now, right? So what I've been doing is I'm helping plan a family reunion. And rather than look up one space, I just kind of started with AI and just ran through the ratings and everything for multiple hotels. So that sped up what it normally would have taken a few hours to a few minutes. So Google definitely seems a little dated now. And even though there's Gemini, I don't know. I'm not really drawn to Gemini. I don't know if it's because of where it is or maybe I'm just not used to using it. But I'm definitely not using Google like I did in the past.
Okay. And for me, I still use Google, but it's because of work. But I am definitely leveraging in certain instances when I can't find things I'm looking for, I find myself either going to Gemini or Perplexity to go deeper in on a question. Now I am also starting to use Google's AI mode more. So I don't know if you guys have AI mode activated on your browser, but I do. And so AI mode is actually being utilized a lot more by myself to go deeper into these queries and to start to fine tune what I'm looking for, so I can take care of whatever it is that I'm dealing with at the time. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the whole nitty gritty. So our focus is the importance of brand visibility in AI searches, how businesses can leverage AI insights to improve their market position. We're going to think about strategies for analyzing brand presence, understanding the competitive landscape, and utilizing AI tools for actionable recommendations. So that's what we're going to be able to cover today. And our tool of the day will be SEMrush's AI Toolkit. And we're going to focus specifically on the visibility tab. Okay. What we're going to cover in this aspect is a brand visibility analysis. We're going to look at 4 different companies, 4 different brands. And I chose 4 different companies because I really want you to understand that it doesn't matter what type of company you are, whether you're B2B, B2C, you cater to a specific niche market, or you're broad across your industry. It's going to affect pretty much any business and every business that cares about their digital presence. We're going to look at sentiment analysis, the role of sentiment analysis in understanding your brand's perception. Sentiment meaning, how does others feel about you? Again, using the AI tool. And one thing that I like about this specific tool is it starts to craft opportunities for you. How do you take advantage of the data that we're seeing? And you're going to notice in this tool, you're seeing it from multiple in multiple spots throughout the tool. So it's not just in a single place. So now you can determine how you want to act on this data. If you want to take small steps, or if you're feeling adventurous and you really want to just jump right in. So here's the thing. We need to go beyond keywords to true visibility. The old rule of SEO is changing. Again, we're hearing AI, SEO is dead. SEO is absolutely 100% not dead. It's evolving. It's changing. It becomes the floor of the new house that we need to build. It's, so you're still going to have to do a lot of the traditional things because, AI search engines are still leveraging your website as one of the sources to deliver its results. Okay, so you still have to optimize. You can't not optimize a blog article. You can't not optimize your products and services pages. You can't not optimize your standard pages on your website. It will not be found, and someone else will. So when people say SEO is dead, it's not. It's evolved. It's changed. It's now a multi-layered approach. But we have to make sure we're showing up in tools like Gemini, Perplexity, ChatGPT, and so on. Okay, and we have to make sure that these tools start to favor your brand. Okay, so I learned about this last week, and I'll give the credit to Neil Patel. But I thought he did a great job in really helping you understand. And I mentioned this on our live call. Each one of these platforms have their own way of understanding how they're going to show you in search, and which means that they favor different things in regards to making that determination. ChatGPT, for instance, likes Wikipedia pages, publisher sites, B2B blogs, and things with strong credentials. So these are some of the signals they like. Perplexity integrates Reddit, and I mentioned the platforms like Reddit and Quora, which are more forum type platforms that you're going to need to start to be on. Product reviews, niche experts. This brings me to platforms like G2, where you get those product reviews. Gemini references YouTube content, authoritative blogs, and news outlets. And think about it, Gemini is a Google product, and so is YouTube. So now you have to figure out, am I already doing YouTube videos? Am I already active in forums? Do I even have a Wikipedia page? If not, should I create one? And there are rules to creating a Wikipedia page, but it is definitely great to have one if you can get one. Okay, and if anybody's on the VIP session later on, and you want to investigate more, I'll show you tools that we're using to help do some of these things. Okay, so now let's get into the 3 pillars of AI visibility. And then for each pillar, we're going to go into the SEMrush tool, and I'll break it down for you. So the first pillar is share of voice, by platform. So how are you showing up per platform? Perplexity, Gemini, ChatGPT, SearchGPT, Claude, all these platforms. How are you able to measure your brand's presence across these different AI platforms? Number 2, brand visibility performance. Analyze sentiment and frequency of the mentions of your organization compared to your competitors. How are your mentions and you showing up frequently in comparison to them? And then 3, this one's a big one, questions and strategic opportunities. What questions are being asked that you're actually showing up for, and what questions are being asked that you're not showing up for that your competitors are showing up for? And then what do you do about it? What action should you take to fix it if you are not showing up for these keywords? So these become the open-ended questions, and I'm happy to be able to show you that you can actually get the answers. Okay, so let's start with share of voice by platform. You need to understand what percentage of AI generated answers where your brand is mentioned compared to others, and again across key platforms. What you want to look out for when it comes to share of voice is discrepancies. A brand may have higher visibility on one platform, but almost invisible on another. This signals a unique growth opportunity to focus your efforts. And then you also have to look at emerging competitors. Look for competitors who may not be your usual rivals in traditional search, but are gaining significant traction in AI answers. This is a chance for you to get ahead. And so, like I mentioned on part one, you can be doing not so well in traditional search and start to do very well in AI search. And that's because AI search is not only taking into account your website, but things that are happening off your site. And I also mentioned that bigger brands have already got a head start on us because bigger brands are already doing things. They already have a team that's posting for them regularly on social media across multiple platforms. They're probably doing press releases about new hires, new products or services, new events that they're a part of, new events they're taking a part of. I'm already producing press releases for a number of my clients just on the fact that they're going to be at somebody else's event. We're making press releases of it now because it's getting our brand name mentioned. It's getting the founder mentioned. I got a quote from them. I'm getting quotes from the event producers, which kind of produces a level of authority. Okay, so all these little signals we're starting to create that are off the site, which before wouldn't have had too much effect on SEO, but now have a huge effect on GEO, generative engine optimization, AI search. Okay, identify which platforms you see as your authority and which ones you need to focus on to close that gap. So, one, identify the platforms. This is your strategy. Identify which platforms recognize your brand as an authority and where you need to improve. Allocate resources. Effectively allocate resources based on platform performance and identify visible gaps. And then target content. Develop and target your content strategy for specific AI platforms to enhance visibility. So then the question becomes, how do you do that? Well, now we're going to get down and get into this. So I'm going to move over to the SEMrush AI Toolkit, and let's get to work. So I told you I'm going to have 4 brands I'm going to show you. So I'm going to just drop this down. So we have a la carte catering in Houston. That's one of our members. We have A&M Equipment Sales. That's one of my clients. We have Moving Forward Small Business. That's our organization. And we have Warby Parker, which is a national brand. That's kind of a demo account in the tool. Now, the reason why I picked these specifically is because they all represent a type of business. A la carte catering represents a local service business. A&M Equipment Sales represents a national, and I would say a national brand that has physical products. Moving Forward Small Business is a membership community. So it's kind of like a service, but it's more like a membership, which is, I guess, still a service. And then you have Warby Parker, which is a behemoth organization that has physical locations, multiple locations. It has a digital presence. It has an offline presence. So there's a lot to learn from any one of these. So we're going to focus just on this first part here. So first thing you'll notice is there's your brand here, a la carte catering, and these are her competitors. So she's inputted these competitors, and so you can add up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I delete one of these, I can add up to nine competitors. So if you use this tool for the first time, it'll pick the competitors for you, but you can change them out if you're like, no, that's not the right competitor. Okay. So what we're looking at here is market position, AI urgent strategic priorities. So what this says, this means is the following metrics details these market shifts and highlights immediate strategic priorities for you. Okay, and then share a voice platform is your brand's visibility in AI generated answers to non-branded questions compared to competitors and broken down by platform. This can help you spot platform specific growth opportunities. So here's what this means. Right here, I can look at Google AI mode, Search GPT, Chat GPT, Perplexity, and Gemini. Eventually, I'll be able to look at Claude and DeepSeek. So I'll have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 platforms in one platform. Okay. So right now we're looking at Google AI mode. So I can see that we have 6% of the market when it comes to our brand in Google AI mode. And I can see a Fair Extraordinaire has 1%. And then City Kitchen has 0%. 360 Catering and Events, I think that's a new one that Laura added, has 52% of the market on Google AI mode. So we need to study 360 Catering because they're getting something right. They have 52%. Okay? Let me pause here. Lakeisha, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
I raised my hand because Laura mentioned in the chat that 360 is new. So they've kind of snuck up.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. Not nice. I don't mean nice in that way because that sucks. But here's the big thing. So it's saying for Google AI mode, dominate seasonal menu searches. Increase SOV from 5.7% by owning seasonal menu catering Houston with local content. So it's giving us some content ideas. Boost customization message. Highlight 87% positive perception by showcasing real custom menus and direct dietary solutions. Own the full service advantage. Only 15% of caterers often offer true end-to-end planning. Now, here's the crazy thing. If I unclick Google AI mode and quickly click on Search GPT, you're going to see it drops. Now, 360 Catering jumps 63%, and we only have 1% of search. But if I click on chat, we're not showing up at all. But a Fair Extraordinaire is 7%, 360 Catering is 12%. Now, this other means that this is everyone else, and they're just combined, but they don't have enough to show up in these areas. If I look at Perplexity, I can see we're 2%. A Fair Extraordinaire is 3%. Of course, this 360 Catering is crushing it. And then, of course, Gemini. And we're not even on Gemini's radar. Now, that's this week. It changes week for week because we're measuring it regularly. Now, what I'm going to do here is when I switch it here, you're going to notice the priorities change for that particular platform. So it just changed. SEO for dietary queries. Capture high engagement searches with optimized landing pages, currently at 0.91% share versus 62% for 360 Catering. So it's identified that 360 Catering, one of the things that's helping them get 63% is dietary queries. So we need to investigate what that is. Okay, highlight dietary inclusivity. Own the full catering service. So this is a repeat, and then strengthen editorial PR outreach. Absent from major media, pursue features in national wedding, hospitality, and lifestyle publications. Now, this makes me think, remember on day one, I talked about Quoted. And when we go into Quoted is a platform that you can use for free and get 2 free pitches to media every month. Or if you pay a small price, you can get, I think, maybe 15 or 20. So this is our account. And here are the opportunities that are popping up based on the keywords I put in for our industry. So we help small businesses. So Time Magazine, AOL.com, Tom's Guide, Homes, CIO.com, Pride, Business Insider. So this is tuned to moving forward small business. So if you put in your industry, and just to show you, again, if I come over here to media database and I drop in caterer, you're going to see here are reporters that in what publications that they push out. The caterer, she covers social media marketing, chief marketing officer, and content marketing. This is Kurt Schuschman, cooking, Associated Football, Super Bowl, French fries, chef, culinary art. So there will be, based on your industry, reporters, and if you set up your own free account, and you put in your right keywords, you'll start to get opportunities to submit to. I submitted to something yesterday for Forbes Insight, for Forbes Advisor. So this is a way for her to strengthen her editorial PR outreach. Like I said, I don't use just one tool. This tool helps me paint a picture, but I use this tool and a number of other tools that I demoed on part one to help you start to figure it out, or you might have your own tool available. So again, if I click on here and I go to A&M equipment sales, again, just to give you a different perspective, go back to visibility because we're on the visibility tab. You're going to see this is my client, A&M equipment sales. So let's see how well they're doing on Google. So on Google, my client's number one on Google AI mode. If I click on them and look at them on Search GPT, they have 2% of the market, and AMS vending has 5%. They have the most. If I look at Search GPT, we're being crushed by vending. They have vending.com has 13%, A&M has 3%. Perplexity, we're neck and neck pretty much with vending. We're 1 and 2. On Gemini, we're like a blip, and vending is number 1. So again, you're seeing, the differences, but you're seeing this change here on the right. Each time I switch it to Search GPT, A&M holds 3.4% share of voice. Vending leads with 13%. Optimized for key refurbished terms. So now I need to go in they do refurbished vending machines. So I need to start to double down on refurbished language. And I could even look at vending and see how they're doing it so I can make those adjustments to our own content. Okay? So sometimes the changes are for the site. Sometimes the changes for things off the site, like press releases, relationship building, strategic partnership building. Okay? If I look at moving forward small business, again, it's going to change. And I go to visibility again. And I can see that we do well. Moving forward small business does well on sentiment. We need a lot of work on share of voice on the platforms. And the reason why we're struggling, and I say struggling now, we won't be for long, is because our competitors are massive. SCORE, SBA, Small Business Development Center, who have, in some cases, almost unlimited resources, financial and human capacity. So I'm on an uphill battle. But the funny thing is our sentiment on these platforms are higher than theirs. So, and I'll show you what that means later. I'm throwing that in as a caveat because I can look. See, we got a little bit of a blurb on Google AI mode. Search GPT, a little bit of a blurb. Chat GPT, we're not there at all. Perplexity, a little bit of a blurb. And Gemini, a little bit nothing. But if I look at here, it's telling me why. Win best platform comparison. Publish comparison pages to compete with Y Combinator. Now, we've already started producing versus pages, but I did not compare myself to Y Combinator, so I'm going to need to do one with Y Combinator. Own exclusive support searches. Create niche segment content challenging SBA and MBDA's SOV among women and minorities. Launch video resource library. Capture 30% of where to find queries. Match Coursera and Udemy's search presence. Now, so what that means is we have just on our training alone, we have over 220 hours of training. So what I should probably do is start to break some of that down into bite-sized kind of like pieces that I can promote, drop them onto our YouTube channel, get them onto TikTok, start posting more on LinkedIn, those video snippets, and be very descriptive about them, and even put some stuff on our website that's more video-based, so we start to build up our video library to compete with Coursera and Udemy, because we do kind of compete with them too, because of our training. So, but the thing is, I can't do all of this. So we need to start to think about what are the things we're going to need to do. And then finally, let's look at Warby Parker. And then we're going to get back into it. And as you can see, based on these different businesses, these tools are very, very optimized for your platform. So if you're using a tool like SEMrush AI Toolkit, it's going to be very relevant to your business, which is why I recommend this tool. So even a big brand like Warby Parker, even though they're crushing all their competitors on ChatGPT, they're crushing their competitors on search, they're crushing their competitors on Google, AI mode, and so on, there's still more room for improvement. They can still increase their market share. Or if I happen to be Ray-Ban or Oakley, then I'm trying to figure out what Warby Parker is doing well and how I'm going to go in and start to steal some of their traffic and get some of that share of voice on these platforms. Okay, so I'm going to come back out of here and let's move on to part 2. Now, before I do that, does anybody have anything they want to say? Go ahead, Nikisha.
I'm good. I like that you said you would chop it down and put it in bite-sized pieces.
Absolutely, and that's something that we haven't done. We've talked about it, but it's just limited resources. But now I'm realizing that it's now become more of a necessity to me because it's saying this is hurting you. This is stopping you from competing the way that you need to compete to be on these platforms. So now I have to put more weight on it. Okay. So now we talk about brand visibility performance. Now we talk about mentions. How often does your brand appear in AI generated responses, and sentiment, whether those mentions are positive, neutral, or negative. Okay. Things to look out for. Strengths and weaknesses. AI tools can often provide a generated strategy based on your data. This helps you understand what the AI considers your brand's key strengths and, more importantly, its weaknesses. And then top priorities. These tools often provide a prioritized list of strategic opportunities based on your data. Look for these AI-generated recommendations to guide your next steps. So it's not that you're going to be overwhelmed because, again, there's a lot of data. How do we start to make sure we're pointing ourselves in the right directions? So you analyze sentiment, identify your strengths, prioritize the improvements, implement the content, and then measure the results. So let's go back into the tool. And let's go to A&M equipment sales. Let's go back to visibility. And now that we looked at this first part, visibility priorities, now we're going to look at share of voice. And this is where we talk about brand visibility performance. So now we're looking at share of voice. So now we can see all the competitors that we had up here. So as you can see, for A&M equipment sales, I can still add a number of competitors. So it'll find competitors for you, or you can add your own. So let's add Vendec because it looks like they have 15%. So I want to have them in here. So VNet is now another really great competitor to watch. Now, if I scroll down here, so now I can see this is April 30th, May. So it's measuring how we're doing week over week. So just like the traditional AI tool, the traditional SEMrush tool that shows you your progress over a period of time, this can do this as well. And we can see the share of voice at this here represents the latest score, the latest run. I could take things out to see. Now we can see the mentions. I can see that this is all ChatGPT. So I can see that A&M equipment sales was mentioned 13 times, 9% of this group. I got mentioned 13 times. Vending.com got mentioned 42 times, which is 30%. So I can see the amount of mentions. I can see the average position we show up in search on this particular platform. So these three things now become part of your brand visibility. Okay, so if you're not showing up and you're seeing your other ones, you need to understand why they're showing up and see if you're not showing up, you're not being mentioned. Okay, now if I change this to Google AI mode and come back down here, you can see that we've been mentioned 44% of the time. 62 mentions. So we're beating everybody other than Vendat. They actually have us beat, 83%. But we're number 2, specifically on this platform. So again, this is where you might decide to focus your AI search strategy on a specific platform. So again, you might double down on the one that you're winning to get more market share, or you might focus your attention just on the one that you're not showing up at all, just so you can start to get an even spread across all of your search, all of the AI search engines. You pick the direction that you want to go in. Okay? Let me pause. Any questions, any thoughts, any ahas?
One of the things that stood out to me as you were doing this, Jimmy, was VenNet. If you look at just the way they were kind of stable and then they shot all the way up right above the average position category.
You're talking about in the mentions section?
In the mentions, and then the one right above that, you see where they were kind of stable.
You mean here in the share of voice?
Nope, it's in the mentions. If you look in the mentions,
Yep.
you see it?
Okay, yep. Vendat, they shot up to from 33 to 87, and then they went to 79. And again, remember, it means it's mentions. So they could be running a promotion.
Right.
And if they're running a promotion and they're doing a great job of getting it out across the internet and people are talking about it, that could shoot up their mentions. And again, not necessarily in the AI search on the internet, and then the AI search is picking it up because of questions being asked, which we're going to get to in the next section. So, and again, this is where we're seeing the data to understand, first of all, what's going on, but we still need to figure out what do we do about it.
Right.
Okay. Corey, anything? I see Erica joined us as well.
Yeah, I was just looking at it just to kind of correlate the spikes and the dips with the certain partners or the competitors that you pick, that you can probably go back and look at the data to see what actually caused those spikes. So I don't know, not sure if that's what we're going to get into more.
That's exactly what we're going to get into next.
Because that's my next thing. Okay.
Yeah, and again, that's where this tool excels. Is in the second part. There are a lot of tools now that can read where you stand, but we need to figure out how people got there and what can you do about it. Okay. All right. So let's go back in now that we looked at the visibility. Now we're going to go to our final step for today, and that's breaking down the questions and the strategic opportunities. So obviously, for us to show up in AI search, it has to be surrounded in questions. What are the questions being asked? Okay. Or is the brand being mentioned, or are we showing up in what we call non-branded conversation? Okay. So we need to use AI tools to analyze specific questions. We need to, this analysis uncovers valuable insight into the user's intent. Why is the search happening? It also helps to identify market demand related to your brand. And these last two are very important. AI tools can distinguish between brand queries, whether the user is specifically searching for your brand, or non-branded queries where the brand appears to in generic topic searches. Okay, this distinction helps identify organic brand authority versus direct brand recognition opportunities. What does that mean? Okay, what things to look out for is the type of query. You know, is it about product feature? Is it about a comparison? Is it about social responsibility? You know, the answer is the roadmap to what content you need to create or update and optimize. Okay, the tools will take a look and provide you with concrete, actionable opportunities. Here's a situation where, let's say you're not using a tool like SEMrush, and you do get this data. You can upload that data into your AI generative tool and start to ask it questions. Now, that still might not produce the ideal solution because the AI tool might not have enough information to give you what you're looking for. Okay, so actionable insights. We need to understand what content is visible, what content channels are working, what is the user intent analysis, what is the visibility optimization, and what is the competitive positioning of your brand against your competitors. So now we're going to get to our final section where we're going to look at the final part of the visibility piece here in the AI toolkit. So let's go back in here. And so we're on A&M. We'll keep it on Google AI mode. So we looked at the visibility and share of voice on the platform. We looked at the performance of the brand's visibility across share of voice, mentions, and average position. Now we get to the questions, okay? So these are the actual questions being asked that we're showing up for. Now, again, it's taking into account all of those competitors. So rule number 1, make sure you're tracking the right competitors. If you are tracking the wrong competitors, then you're going to be enthusiastically going in the wrong direction. I'm going to say that again. If you're tracking the wrong competitors, you're going to be enthusiastically going in the wrong direction. When I met with A&M Equipment Sales, they had me add in a number of competitors that I did not have on the radar for them. And it changed everything because, of course, now we need to look at, how those real competitors are showing up. So now, here's how you read this. There's 2 types of keywords. There's branded, which means that your brand was actually mentioned in the query. And then there's non-branded. These are questions that don't mention the brand, but they're asking a question, and you're either showing up or you're not showing up. So right now you're looking at, let's start with branded. So let me click on this so I can reorganize this based on brand. So you can see A&M Equipment Sales. So we're doing pretty well overall. So this says this is a branded queue, and we're number 1. AMS Vineyard is number 2 when these other guys are not in that or even showing up at all in this. So it says, is it safe to buy vending machines online from A&M Equipment Sales? So it used the brand name. Does A&M Equipment Sales carry parts for Royal Vendors or Vendo Sandin? So this lets me know we're number 1. So we probably have content that mentions these 2 brands. Yes, A&M Equipment Sales carries both for both vendors. So, and you can test it. So this is for Google AI mode. Okay. Now, if I click on this again and go, let me look at what non-branded terms look like. Who offers refurbished vending machines for schools? So no brands mentioned. We're number 1. Ventec is number 7. AMS Vineyard is number 3, and our competitors are nowhere to be found. But in other areas, they are. So who offers pre-inspected used vending machines? We're number 1. So again, we've started to address this because we've been doing content marketing for years. We've been optimizing our website for years. So we were already pretty set up for the transition. Now it's our job is to improve the amount of times we actually show up. So if you've done no SEO or you've done very little, this is where you're going to struggle. So now let me show you what the difference is. I'm going to put our brand on blast. I'm going to put Moving Forward's on blast. If I come over here to Moving Forward Small Business and I go back to visibility and I come down to questions, you're going to see, look at all the stuff we're optimized for when they mention our name. So we're doing great here because we've been focusing a lot on producing content where which is better for new business owners, Moving Forward Small Business to Startup Nation. So I can look at this, and we actually did comparison between about 9 different competitors. So it's picking it up. So we purposely created content to answer these questions because we saw that it's being asked. Here's another question that we're number 1. Are Moving Forward Small Business expert resources more actionable than Hello Alice content? Hello Alice is a competitor, but they could also be a strategic partner because even though the SBA and these other organizations are competitors, I actually partner with a lot of them. So when I create my comparison charts, I'm not bashing them. I'm just stating the difference between working with us versus the SBA or SCORE. They do this, we do not. We do this, they do not. So it's very unbiased. And now I'm controlling the narrative of Moving Forward Small Business when people inquire well, what's different about moving forward small business? But if I look at the non-branded stuff, this is where we're hurting. So we can see we're not, look at all my competitors. What organizations connect new entrepreneurs with seasoned business owners? We don't have any content for that. What are the leading platforms for small business peer networking? Okay, so I should probably start producing very generic content that answers this question, whether it's through blogging, whether it's through events that I'm doing, whether it's through videos I post on YouTube, whether it's through an announcement, through a press release. I need to start to dominate non-branded conversation just as well as branded. So we've done it, which is why our sentiment is high, but our visibility is low. You understand the difference? Nikisha, you look like you got some things going on in the brain. Tell me.
No, this is pretty impressive. Getting this information allows you to customize how you share your content based on the needs of your target market. So this is brilliant.
Well, here's the thing. Let's say I want to target Score. I can click on Score and make them my new focus and go, I want to take on Score. Let me see everything they're number one in, and let me start to create content around that. So here it says, what makes moving forward small business different from Score for new entrepreneurs? I have an article I wrote about that compares us, Score, and the SBA. So it pulled that information from that. And that's how we're number two, because we're being sourced as number two when Score is being sourced as number one. But now I see they're number one in a lot of non-branded. So it's a mix of branded and non-branded. So I can literally go down this list and start making content based on what I'm seeing here from this. So I could target any one of these competitors and see, well, what are they number one in that me and so that there's Startup Grind, there's all the stuff that they're number one in. And I can see, is it a non-branded search or branded search? Okay. So you'll notice in the chat, Corey's dropping some links as well to use the free the SEMrush AI tool for free for 7 days. If you want to book a walkthrough with me, you can do a free 30-minute consultation with me as well. So the final part of this, if I scroll down, it gives you actual strategic things that you can do, and it gives you a timeline. This is a short time frame thing. So it says capture unserved live monthly framework and peer roundtable intent. It says questions about mastermind groups, monthly frameworks, and peer roundtable surface vintage, entrepreneur organization, and BNI, far more than moving forward small business, despite these being core moving forward small business products. This is a low competition pocket with purchase-ready visitors. It says re-optimize landing pages to mirror exact language like monthly peer roundtables, and launch a branded micro webinar series whose recordings are tagged the same way so AI snippets quickly associate moving forward small business with this need. So again, it gave me an exact thing to do. It wasn't just a website. It said optimize the landing page, one, and then it said create a micro webinar series, similar to what I'm doing here. So that's a complete strategy that I could focus on for, say, a month. Do that, and then go, what else should I do? Let's look at this. This one is urgent. Leverage co-authored content with niche startup communities to siphon authority. Something I do all the time. Communities like Startup Grind, Techstarter, and Founder Institutes each hold small but loyal shares of voice slices. Google often groups them in best communities answers where moving forward small business is absent. So I need to get into these articles that talk about the best communities. Launch a community playbook series co-authored with experts from these organizations. Cross-publish on their blogs with canonical links to moving forward small business to earn authoritative backlinks and insert the brand into aggregated AI recommendations. So you see how it gives you very specific things that you can do. And this is how you start to improve this and this and this. So you can take the information you can implement here, or you can go all the way down here and implement bigger strategies. Okay? So, key takeaways. Develop your tech stack. Figure out what your tech stack's going to look like. Am I going to use the SEMrush tool and also use Quoted for this and use Perplexity for this and Gemini for that? Because Gemini is my go-to tool. I also have another tool called ScaleNut and AnyWord. So I have a number of tools that I use to do my work, especially when it comes to building out my online presence and just producing content. So develop your tech stack for your AI visibility. Analyze your brand across multiple AI platforms to find clear paths. Get ahead of your competition and build a strong, more resilient brand presence that is across the digital sphere. Okay? So your next step is to start with a baseline. Grade your website. Make sure you can use the AI Toolkit, or you can start for free with the HubSpot Toolkit. Analyze the 3 pillars. If you're going to use this tool or any tool, figure out how to make sure you understand share of voice, brand performance, and audience insight, and then let the data guide your strategy. Figure out, let's just say worst case scenario, you run a bunch of reports and you get some insights on where you stand in AI. Upload those reports and then say, create a guide, create a strategy for me, create a step-by-step playbook, put it in the order of what is most important. Okay, that would be the basic that you could do. But you want to make sure that you're not wasting your time and energy, and everything that you are doing is really going towards the fact that you're going to start to improve your visibility. I hope that you're seeing the value of what this of the opportunities that are in front of you, and the fact that right now, with you watching this training, you're going to get ahead of a lot of small businesses and businesses in general, specifically around this topic. So what's next? If you missed part 1, where I demoed 9 different tools to kind of start you off, watch the replay. You've already gotten the replay link if you're here. If you're watching this as a replay, you just scroll down, or you might already be on the replay page. Next, make sure you sign up, register for part 3, where we're going to look at optimizing your content for user intent. So now that we know what the content is, we can start to understand what that looks like. So I'm going to introduce you to a couple other tools that I use to optimize content. And then we're going to be jumping on our VIP next. So all those that were emailed the VIP link, you'll join me on the VIP, and we can talk more about this. And I can always pull up the tools, and you can get more personalized questions answered. So you'll get a link to this. This is the brand visibility analysis checklist. This is aligned with what we talked about today. On day 1, I gave you the step-by-step AI checklist. All of these are on the replay page. If you want to try the AI toolkit, if you want to scan this with your phone, you can scan this now. You can go to the link in the chat, or you can somehow copy this link on this page, or you can get it off the replay page because it's linked there as well. If you want to upgrade, for $47, you got unlimited access to be on the net. We're going to go right now to jump on to the VIP session. You can upgrade it anytime. You upgrade once for $47, you got access to all the VIPs until this ends on September 10th. So it's a one-time fee. And if you want to book a call with me, you could do that on this page, or you could do that on the replay page as well to book a call with me. So let me see what time it is. So we got 2 minutes before we're going to jump off and go into the VIP section. I'm going to check the chat. If anybody has any questions in the chat, if not, I would see you in the VIP. All right. Corey, any thoughts? And I see Erica, you were on, but you may be muted. So I'm not sure if you can chat. Anybody want to say anything before we jump off and jump onto the VIP set time?
I'll say that that was a great session. It's a few things that I definitely have to look into with SEMrush and utilize some of those questions that actually help bring my brand visibility up with my business. So yeah, it was very informative today.
Very beautiful, very beautiful. Okay, with that being said, for everyone, I look forward to seeing you either on the VIP call or seeing you next week on the live call. So continue being awesome, stay strategic. And like we said, moving forward, small business, our motto is stay active, stay focused, stay strong, That is the Moving Forward Small Business Way. We look forward to seeing you at the next session. All right, take care, everyone.